Hi guys, so today I wanted to talk to you about motherhood and anxiety. I have dealt with crippling anxiety ever since I had kids, and it comes from a lot of factors. I had some abuse in my past as a child that I had to deal with and reprocess as I had children again. You kind of relive it as you're watching your kids grow and realizing what you missed out on, and I don't know, something about having kids is just triggering when you've had an abusive past yourself. And the second reason is I'm a very type A, very organized, very driven person, and that all of my best laid plans get sidetracked very easily with small children, which is very humbling experience. But when I try to grip tightly to my own plans and forget to give myself grace and mercy, that can cause a lot of anxiety. I also have insulin resistance issues, and that can lead to some anxiety. You know, just with everything in motherhood, anxiety happens. I don't sleep through the night yet. I haven't slept through the night in, almost 2 years now, so that can cause stress and anxiety. But I've learned some things that I can do when I'm experiencing anxiety that help. You might hear some noises. My son is playing a Game Boy game right over there, and my other child is napping, and hopefully will stay napping for this video. So here are my tips for anxiety and motherhood. Number one, and the biggest change, are 2 affirmations that I just try to repeat to myself whenever I'm having anxiety. Number one is that I am not responsible for my child's moods. My children have their own moods, and my children have their own personalities, they have their own emotions, and just because my son's having a bad day does not mean I have to have a bad day. I can choose how to respond to his tantrums and to the sin in his life, and I cannot let that color my own life. And that's easier said than done, but just realizing that because my son has a bad day, and because he's either being disobedient, or if he's melting down, or just really struggling on the struggle bus, it does not mean that I'm a bad parent. It doesn't mean that I have to have a bad day, and it doesn't mean I have to give up. Because so many times when my son's just having a really bad day and he's struggling and he's not eating and he's back talking and maybe he's hitting his sister or he's not obeying or screaming, I just kind of give up. I'm not quite sure how to describe this, but I just give up. And I'm not doing that anymore. Now, if that happens, and it does happen a lot, I use it as a way to encourage him, and I use his mood as a way to encourage me. I'm not really quite sure if that made any sense at all. I've noticed some trends of things that are happening in my life when I'm dealing with anxiety. So one of the main stressors for me is my husband working late. He's an engineer. He does not get paid any overtime, but he continuously works 2 to 4 hours late every single day. He gets home very late. It puts a lot of stress on me when that happens consecutively, like day after day after day, he's working 2 to 4 hours. If it's once in a while, I can usually deal with that, but it just puts a lot of pressure on me. And so I found that in this season of young children, when I know my husband is going to be working late and I know there's nothing I can do about it, I need to say no to myself and to others. I need to stay home. I need to cook really easy meals. I need to not go out. I need to not put pressure on myself to clean if I can't keep everything up. I think my main source of my anxiety is the pressure I put on myself. I expect myself as a mother of 2 small children to be able to keep up with the chores and the cooking, the cleaning, and our crazy allergies and dieting, and live a normal life. And I forget that I have autoimmune issues, my son has autoimmune issues, my husband works late. All of these 3 things are going to affect my life, and I need to mold my life around those instead of just expecting the train to keep steaming forward at full power when all of these other things are happening. So I've learned that I can say no to working in the nursery. I can say no to going out with friends. I can invite them over here. It'll be okay if I miss out on things. It's not a big deal. I can go out to eat in a few certain areas because of our allergies. You know, I can make easy meals of tuna in a can with mayonnaise on bread. And that's okay. Relaxing in those areas, not expecting myself to make a big fancy meal, not going to the park, not volunteering and bringing my friend a meal when they're sick, or volunteering in the nursery, saying no to those things when everything around me requires more attention, helps my anxiety so much. The third thing I do is on the weekends, my husband likes to go out and like go different places, and this wears me out, especially when we've had a tough week where he's worked late every day. I need time at home to make my home calm and make sure that I have the laundry put away and just things at home running in an ordered fashion. I have to have that at this kind of level in order to be able to go out and enjoy myself without all of that stuff just like sitting on my shoulders waiting for me to get home and clean it and do it. So before I do anything, before I tell him that I can go out to the mall for 2 hours and then my daughter might fall asleep on the way home, which will make her skip her nap, which will make everything hard in the evening, I tell him, look, we had a really tough week where you were gone a lot, and that made, like, I'm behind on the laundry, I'm behind on the dishes. I need you to take the kids out if you want to go out so I can catch up on those things so that I can have that baseline peace. And usually I would just push myself to go out because I would feel like bad for saying no or guilty that I couldn't have fun or whatever. And then I would just crash when we got home. Like, I would just be useless. So now I've learned to communicate to my husband. Instead of just saying, no, I don't want to, I now say the reasons why. And it's helped him understand, because before I used to just say I can't do it. Like, I can't explain why, but my anxiety is so high that I just can't. And then he would take that as, oh, I need to like cajole you and just like make you go, which is not what I needed. Now I'll tell him, you know, my anxiety is so high because these things aren't done. Like, can you help me get them done? So yeah, anxiety is tough. I know my triggers. When I eat lots of sugar, my blood sugar is high and I will have anxiety. I have anxiety about my children. I have anxiety about my husband working late. It's just things cause me stress. And as a mom, you're going to learn how to deal with stress. So I've learned in almost 5 years of motherhood now that my home is my baseline for me. Other people may be different, but I need to have my home clean and open, and I need to have a few chores done before I can give my attention to other things. And making sure I have all my ducks in a row, and then making sure I have some time to relax. Regular time. If it's just once in a blue moon, usually I'm so stressed during that time because I needed it, 3 weeks ago and didn't have it, that I can't relax. So I need to make sure I'm having regular, I would say 3 to 4 times a week, space by myself. They say like moms should go out on a date once a week or once a month by themselves, so that is not enough. I've been doing hot yoga in the morning before my husband goes to work at 6 a.m., but it has been so healing to my soul, just having that time by myself in the morning. It's all quiet, and I just can't describe how much that has helped my anxiety. It is like, I'm in love with it. I look forward to waking up at 5 a.m. and getting my breakfast and doing my devotions and getting ready and leaving the house at 5:30 and driving to yoga. Like, I yearn and long for that. And I mean, If you told me that in my 20s, I was like, I would never wake up at 5 a.m. You're crazy. But that space is mine, and I'm gonna protect it. And it's great that my husband, he wakes up, he takes care of the kids, he gives them a shower, and when I get home I get a shower, and then I make breakfast and we all go from there. Just having that space gives me like freedom. I don't know how to explain it. But this video is long enough already, so there is my anxiety talk for motherhood. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.